Tonight on a
So,
very special episode of Don't You Dare Interrupt Me. I'm gonna.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Tonight on a mundane episode of episodes, I'm Jango and he's Razor.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're watching What If?
We're watching just the first 2 episodes?
Yeah, just the first 2.
Space. Reality.
We were just talking about how cool this guy is. I like his voice. He's a good guy. He was
Yeah,
on,
yeah, the guy that got the voice to Watcher
Yeah.
fits the role. He does a good job.
He was on Westworld.
One of my favorite things about this show is that most of the voices are the people who do it in the movies. Like,
Yeah.
it's sort of rare for people to transition from live action to a cartoon that way.
Yeah, it's a thing.
But yeah, they got pretty much everybody except Cap, Tony, and Spider-Man.
I don't think Widow is her either.
It's not. Yeah, it's probably not Scarlett Johansson. But Widow hasn't really had a. I don't know if she's had any lines in any of the episodes yet.
No, she has. She definitely has. I forgot who she was. I don't remember.
Maybe a little
We'll
somewhere.
see.
The Nazi army marches across Europe, leaving death and destruction. The Allied armies band together.
So,
to create a new kind of soldier.
yeah, it's a shame we're only watching the first 2 because
Darkest hour, a skinny kid
it gets better.
became Captain America,
It does get better.
turning the tide of
These shows are actually like low on my scale of
peace.
which ones I liked the most.
I thought the same thing.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with this one.
All this.
It's just kind of predictable.
Yeah, it's really similar to Cap, like the movie. It's really similar.
Yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, really not that much changes in this universe.
Except for the Hydra Stomper.
Yeah. I kind of wish they called it the Iron Man. Like, Hydra Stomper does sound like a 1940s name,
Uh-huh.
but if it's literally just the Mark I Iron Man.
It is. I'm not a fan of that. I didn't like that shit. It's like
You don't think Howard should have built a suit of armor?
no, I don't feel like that was his deal, his wheelhouse, like it is Tony's.
I think it makes sense. He's a creative, inventive mind, and if you cast him with find a way to get Skinny Steve into the war, what else is there but build him a suit?
I mean, I guess.
Also, like, because it's the Mark I, it aesthetically fits the World War II setting.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it is very, like, pulpy 1940s. It felt natural to me.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with like the way it looks or anything like that. It was just Howard, like, being capable of doing anything that Tony could under the right circumstances. I don't know. It feels weird. I don't know, but it's fine. It's totally fine.
I'll be right back.
I mean, there is kind of a point to be made that, like, most of the stuff Tony invented was based on his dad's. Like, the arc reactor already existed. All Tony did was make it tiny.
It did.
Which is impressive if you think about, like, what the arc reactor is and how it could never fucking actually exist.
With a box of scraps.
I mean, he literally solved the energy crisis.
He did. Man, that guy. What's that guy's name? Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, yes.
Yeah, Obadiah Stane.
Obadiah.
That shit was tough. Built
I'm a
this in
big
a
fan of Jeff
cave.
Bridges.
As you should be. Everybody
Like-
he's great.
The original Tron, without Jeff Bridges, I don't know if I'd ever go back and watch it, but with Jeff Bridges, one of my favorite movies.
It's been so long since I've seen that. This guy.
I do find it interesting that this version of event, like, this guy is replacing Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, where did he go?
Maybe they couldn't get him back or something. They're like, whatever.
Well, I'm sure Tommy Lee Jones isn't going to do cartoons, but you could have found, like, if you're getting voice alikes for Cap and Tony, like, what's special about his character that, no, we need to invent a completely different guy instead of
Was he
doing
on
an
Agent
imitation
Carter?
of... I don't know.
I thought this character was. And if that's the case, then it makes sense.
Is the Agent Carter show actually canon?
Vast new realities.
This fucking... Look, I don't care if you're... I don't know how many people listening to this are going to be fans of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I assume that's a rare thing, but I have seen it exist on the internet.
Yeah.
And look, I'm sorry, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. That show's not canon. It's not.
It's really not. It's very much not. But it could
And, like,
be.
Agent Carter was an offshoot of that.
It was.
But at
like,
the same time, the guy who played Jarvis in Agent Carter ended up in the movies, so maybe Agent Carter is canon?
I think of it like Agent Carter and S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Netflix series. They're just fucking multiverse Elseworld variants and shit. But they're not,
guess,
they're
'cause,
not
like...
here on this one, though. But I mean, like, with Tommy Lee Jones not being in there, this character, I believe, was on, Bradley Whitford? Is that his name?
Oh.
I think it is, that guy. If that character has more significance to Peggy, like, specifically, then I can get why they would want to put him against her instead of Tommy Lee Jones.
Perhaps. It just seems odd.
It does.
Where did Tommy Lee's character go?
I liked his character a lot.
Was he caught in the explosion? Was he in the crowd at the beginning and I missed it?
No, I didn't see him anywhere in this thing. Like, they don't even mention him.
Now here's a question, because this obviously isn't Hugo Weaving. Is this the same guy, though, that does the Red Skull in Infinity War and Endgame?
It is indeed.
Ah. Alright.
That guy is the new Red Skull voice.
I appreciate the consistency of
yeah.
with your Hugo Weaving impersonator.
I do like Marvel.
Like, if you're gonna get a guy to do a guy, get the same guy every time.
Right, yeah. Like, I think that's something that Marvel does pretty okay with.
Yeah.
I mean, Benicio del Toro's in this shit. Not this one, but, like, they get some cool people
well,
here.
when we get there, I have things to say about Benicio's performance.
Yeah. I'm with you. That was an interesting episode.
There were choices made that I don't understand. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you know. Well, we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, we'll
fine.
get there. That's episode 2, so...
Oh, is it? That's
yeah,
right,
that's
right.
the Black Panther episode, yeah.
Okay. This shit right here. Just so happened to made you a shield.
Yeah, just, hey, here it is.
They're already painted on theme, like they're ready to go.
We're making some narrative choices here to speed things along because we only have half an hour.
Yeah. That people's just gonna like invent things to like skip time. That's cool. It's fine.
We're just gonna have to roll with it. We got to get through a whole movie in a quarter at a time.
She fucks these guys up.
You know, there are some feats of strength here that I would say surpass what Steve has done in the films, and
I would agree.
It has. I have discussed the question of this with some of my IRL friends. Is Peggy stronger because she was stronger to start with before she took the serum? Is that how it works?
That's what I would have to assume. It's a little bit of the same situation with Walker.
Because in the comics, the idea is that it didn't matter. Like, Steve was better able to handle the serum because he was tiny to start with. A lot of people would burn out and die taking it.
Yes.
But But if you do survive, it takes you to the same baseline no matter what. Everybody who takes the super soldier serum is equally strong because that's the human peak is what it's supposed to give you. The absolute maximum any human body can be. So it wouldn't necessarily make sense for one Captain America to be stronger than another.
I mean,
But then again, like, the Cap in the movies is clearly beyond peak human potential. He's just explicitly super strong.
yes, yes, yes.
So the movie serum...
It's tight.
The movie serum working different is fine by me.
Yeah, I mean, they've never said or anything like specifically in the MCU about how that works and what the scale is. Like, is there a ratio that's whatever to this? I assume so. John Walker, you could cite him, but he's also using a different version of the serum.
Yeah.
But he was fucking hella stronger than Bucky. Maybe not hella, but
Well, I don't know,
but he
because
was. He was buff, dude.
I don't know if I would say the fights between them definitively made him look stronger than Bucky. He was definitely stronger than Falcon because of course he was, but I don't know if him and Bucky went at it long enough to say for sure.
I mean, he just threw Bucky around so fucking much. It's kind of what I figured. He wasn't throwing John Walker around that much. But boy. But again, that doesn't really help out because it's different. It's a different serum.
You know, I feel like this episode borrows just as much from Indiana Jones movies in terms of, like, some of the beats, like the snappy dialogue and that bit where she beat up the tall guy before she captured, Zola.
Zola.
I feel like that reminds me a little bit of, like, the indie movies, even more so than, like... Because obviously Indiana Jones and Captain America are both set in the 40s, and there's a shared desire to have that pulp
Right.
Adventure feel. I think this is actually even closer than the movie got at times.
I like how he's already in his kind of costume shit. Bucky got that shit. Standard issue.
I do think, well, one of the things about these what-ifs is when you introduce an alternate reality and your premise is, what if only one thing was different? Then it gets a little weird when other things are also different.
Yeah,
it
does.
Artem Zola was not in a truck where Cap could capture him and the cube, right?
I don't think
that never happened.
Yeah.
So why did it happen for Peggy?
I mean, like, if the one choice, like, makes effects, like ripple effects or whatever, that changes other choices. Maybe, but I mean, yeah, there's still some, like...
Yeah, I don't know, like, are things happening faster because she didn't do a USO tour? Is that the idea?
Yeah, maybe? I don't know.
Because, like, she rescues them before Bucky can be experimented on.
Yeah. He was normal. Yeah.
Hold on. You can't even drive a car. So a dame and a flying Buick. Okay. Let's hear it for Captain Carter.
Is that what's the name of the guy who plays Dum Dum Dugan? Is that the same guy?
I can find out. Ask our guy over there. Jamie! You guys were talking about Joe Rogan the other day. I think that guy's name is Bradley Whitford right there. Montage.
Yep. I like montages.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
I've said that many times before. I'm a big fan of particularly the '80s training montage, but this is fine too.
Like the montage is like the only thing that we have that lets us think that, okay, Steve Rogers was actually a soldier and fought in World War II for a little while, not just like a few days before he got put on ice. Like, you don't want that. You want him to like, actually be a soldier for a while and all that to affect him. And the only thing that we got to do that is a montage. You know how much time passed?
Well, there's also a montage in Captain America the movie as well.
There is. That's what I'm saying.
We
Like, that's the only like reason why we have to believe that Steve Rogers was in World War II. Why he was being a soldier for a while.
Yeah. He had a series of adventures. They shot some movies about him.
Did no? Oh, like they tried some in continuity movies. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a scene where like Steve is watching himself in the movie theater.
Yeah. Bullet in the barrel, your best guy's gun. Okay. Dum Dum. Yes, it is the same Dum Dum.
All right.
Confirmed. Ew. That guy does do a pretty good Hugo Weaving.
I'm convinced.
Yeah, it's legit. Okay, there's some stuff here that I didn't like.
Oh.
I feel like she turned into like a babbly, fawning over Steve person really fast and odd.
I don't think that's
It's weird hearing Carter here like stammer and like be caught off guard and whatnot. And, like it's not usually her deal. And it didn't feel like she was that. She was like into the idea, but not like super invested in the idea for most of the first movie. But listen, it's also just
I don't think she's that stuttery. I didn't really notice
You're
it.
my
to be
hero,
honest.
Steve. Like, I mean,
I don't know. I think it's fine.
okay.
And again, some of this is we got to speed things
It
up
is.
because we've only got half an hour. You know.
It is indeed.
Pretend I'm not here.
That's a little bit. That's a little bit Bugs Bunny for me.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh shit, the train.
Neil McDonough, that's who plays Dum Dum.
Yeah, I told you it was him.
I was gonna say Timothy Oliphant because I can't tell the difference between those two guys.
Huh? How do you confuse those two dudes?
I don't know. They look exactly the fucking same.
I don't think they do at all, man. Are we talking about the same people?
The Oliphant was the which one of them was the bad guy in Die Hard 4?
Is that the one with Kevin Smith?
Yes.
Yeah, that was Oliphant.
That was Oliphant. Yeah, see, he looks exactly like Neil McDonough in that movie, and their voices sound nearly the same.
I mean, this guy has like white fucking hair these days.
Well, yeah, but
he definitely looks older than Oliphant. But
I think Oliphant was rocking blonde in Die Hard.
It could be a thing. Could be a thing. What's going on? Oh yeah, that pun. Nearly took my arm off.
References.
Now, at this point, I was kind of hyped because I'm like, oh, Steve's gonna become the Winter Soldier. But no such luck. I think that would have been kind of cool.
His name is Steve Rogers, not the Hydra Stomper.
Don't do it. Man, this guy's fucking...
This general's name is Flynn. I'm gonna have to look that up and see if he's that actual guy.
Bradley Whitford, I'm pretty sure he is. I think he was in the opening credits.
Okay, he actually was in Cap 1.
He was?
Or wait. No, he was in he was in the Agent Carter show. Okay.
I was correct. There it is. There
Alright.
it is. So yeah, since Peggy's the main character, the protagonist here, he would have a little bit more significance. Or this relationship would have a little bit more significance. Just because they knew each other. Or whatever. But, man.
Right. But, let's see. Tommy Lee Jones's character was named Colonel Phillips. Where the hell is he?
No, I agree.
Why is he not in this?
I agree. It's making me cry. God, that character is tight. What was that?
Okay, so I found an article that says this Flynn character was actually created for the Peggy Carter show because Tommy Lee Jones wouldn't do the Peggy Carter show. Like, that was supposed to be him.
I see. Man, she does some shit here.
Okay, so we did apparently miss that Tommy Lee Jones is in the crowd at the beginning, so he probably got blew up.
We'll have to check that out. If you're listening in the comments, remind us to check that out when this thing's over.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Go back and watch the beginning of the episode again.
Yeah. Which brings up a good talking point. Okay. A lot of people are thinking, like, does what if happen specifically because of what happened in Loki? Like,
I would assume that's why they had it air after Loki.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't do a show about the multiverse existing when one of your show's plots is that there's this group that prevents a multiverse from existing. You have to wait until they're taken down.
That is what I thought, and that makes no sense to me. Because it doesn't feel like it's out of, like, just the way the Watcher kind of talks about it as we go along and makes it seem like it does seem like these are other canon timelines, other ones. But you know, stuff.
I mean, the Watcher knows what's going on.
He does.
He also knows what parts of the story don't need to be told because they'll make it longer.
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
It's like, there's a multiverse. There didn't used to be, but there is now. That exposition doesn't need to be.
No.
It's slowing it down.
Like, we know there's a multiverse because.
Yeah. I saw Loki. I already know.
Look at this. This is multiverse.
Right. So this is the most interesting thing about this episode. Is the tentacles out of the portal?
Yeah, we might see them.
Because whose tentacles do you suppose those are?
I actually don't fucking know. I'm sure it's Omega Red.
It's absolutely Omega Red.
That is exactly who it is. That'd be sick. I don't know.
That's what his tentacles look like. They're giant and green. Yeah, they're not metallic at all. No, I think. I mean, so there's a lot of possibilities, but the one you want it to be is Shuma Gorath, right?
Okay.
I think that's the answer most people would give.
That would be cool. And I'm assuming that he's the same one that pops up in the Strange episode.
It's probably the same tentacles we see in a later episode. And that episode is a Doctor Strange episode.
It is.
And maybe Shuma Gorath will be a villain or the villain in Doctor Strange 2.
He easily could be. Suction.
I do enjoy, because it's such a trope that you have a smart guy on the team and he immediately knows how to work any technological thing. I like when they do. I don't get it. It's all in the wrong language. I don't know which button to press.
I think Marvel does a pretty good job of that, and I like that shit too. Like, just because you're a genius or you're a scientist or whatever doesn't mean that you are a scientist for all of the fucking branches of everything.
Like, if you're a really smart guy on Earth who has experience piloting jets, that doesn't mean you should know how a spaceship works when you hop in the cockpit.
Yeah, it's listen, smart people aren't just one smart people. If you're a smart people, you can do whatever. No,
Yeah,
that's not how that works. That's why Tony needed Banner to help him out with Vision, because Banner is like way more advanced as far as biology and shit.
Well, I do feel like what the fuck does Bruce Banner know about computers though? Because he's specifically a nuclear physics and biology guy.
I think it was just the biology shit that Tony was wanting.
Is there a biology element to? I get.
Well,
see, that's the thing I always hate about Age of Ultron is they don't explain how Ultron works at all. If they had simply said that, like in the comics, they started with a scan of a human's brain, it would make a lot of things in that movie make a lot more sense. But they never do say that.
You're right. It kind of feels like that movie kind of feels like it's one of these things where we're just skipping past some stuff to move things along. But it's like, what happened? I don't okay.
Like, so much of that movie would have been, like, so much better exposited, whatever the word is, if they had simply dropped a line that, yeah, Tony scanned his brain, and that's where Banner's expertise comes in, and that's why Ultron acts kind of like Tony. Because that's what it is in the comics. Ultron is fucked up because he's a scan... the AI was invented by scanning Hank Pym's mind, and Hank Pym has bipolar disorder, so
yeah,
not the best idea for making a robot.
No. Ultron came around really quick in that movie.
Yeah, it's just really sloppy.
There's some... But I like Spader.
Just Spader was fine. I don't have any problems with James Spader. So one of the episodes in the future,
I've got questions. Yeah, go ahead.
It's gonna be about what if Ultron won, basically.
I did not know that.
Are they getting James Spader for that?
Let me look at my handy dandy thing right here. And I'd also have to ask, why did the Space Stone make her travel through time?
My assumption is that she went into the tentacle monster's dimension and then came out here because the tentacle monster's dimension doesn't have time, like Dormammu's. That might be what the explanation is, because obviously she hasn't aged.
No, yeah, she hasn't. But I mean, like, that could just be a serum thing too, though.
We know for a fact that Cap ages.
Well, no, he does, but like not since we saw him.
Man.
Like, well, I guess like, okay, so you're saying that he didn't age because he was in Frozen?
Yeah. Well, obviously he's not gonna age while he's cryo-frozen, but I mean, if you go back in time to the 40s, and then you stay there until you're 90 years old, and the next time we see you, you look like a 90-year-old. That proves that you age at a normal speed.
It is a thing.
So the serum, if it slows his aging, it's barely at all. I think Peggy here was just she went into that dimension, and then she came back out in the future because that dimension didn't have the passage of time.
Yeah, that's perfectly plausible. I'm looking. Damn, they got Tilda Swinton back too.
Yeah, they get almost everybody. It's crazy how many like A-listers are doing cartoon voices for this cartoon.
Yeah. I'm still
That's
looking
what I
for
love about
Ultron. Yeah. No, they're Michael Douglas, dude.
So it's not James Spader?
No, I haven't found Ultron yet. I'm still looking.
Okay.
I couldn't believe they got Michael Douglas in here. It's like that dude seems crotchety as fuck.
Well, considering the character he plays in the Ant-Man movies, I have to imagine Michael Douglas is up for anything. He's not gonna big league people.
Okay, it says here Ultron, Gamora, and Shuri, and Pepper Potts are played by different actors.
Okay. We haven't seen Pepper yet. I wonder what episode she's in.
We haven't seen Pepper yet, and we also haven't seen like almost any Thor. Get me butthurt. Like I know he gets shot, but like, come on.
There is a significant Thor episode coming up.
I hope so.
There's like a Thor centric, like he's the main character episode coming, so don't worry about that.
Okay. Listen, I don't think this is any longer than it normally is.
No, it's the same every time. You can tell because they show the same footage in it every time.
I think that might be the case. I think that's a
I'm glad that we finally settled that debate.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's just the way it's supposed to be. Space, King of Space, Brolin,
The Final Frontier.
Oh, for Kurt Russell, I forgot about that dude. Yeah, this shit, like, I've gotten to the point now where I don't want to watch this at the beginning of each episode. I want to be surprised when it pops up.
I don't even notice the credits. I'm looking at the pictures. I didn't realize they had the actors at the beginning.
Yeah, dude. Fucking...
I
We
thought it
didn't
was
go
all
back
just-
and look at that thing the last
I
episode.
assumed it was all the director, the producer, the writer, the blah blah blah. Like, you know, the guys I don't care about.
Yeah? Wait a second. We have to go back now.
Do we?
Yes, this is very important. I'm using the fucking Eye of Agamotto. Okay,
Well,
see?
yeah, look, okay, so the names are, yes, Kurt Russell,
See? Names.
fucking
I don't know who those people are, though.
Karen Gillan, Sean Gunn.
Was it Karen Gillan?
Yes, it's Karen Gillan.
Okay.
She plays herself. She plays Nebula.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
she plays herself. Nebula and
She
her are in
does not
fact
play
the same
herself.
person. It's not a role. She's really blue
Yeah.
and cybernetic and comes from space.
Man, she looks cool.
That pale person with the long red hair that you've seen on the red carpet, that's the act.
Oh, man, dude. Nebula was fucking the Doctor's companion for a long-ass time. But yeah, Brolin, Benicio del Toro, and a bunch of other people were on that. In that
Yeah, I
opening
can't
credits.
believe they got fucking Josh Brolin
Yeah.
to come in here and make a fucking mockery of his character.
I mean, it's impressive. They did a good job. Now, they have not confirmed this, but is this supposed to be Uatu?
Yes, that's Uatu. That is
Okay.
the Watcher.
Okay.
We know there are many Watchers. We saw one of Stan's cameos. Was that Guardians 2? Where Stan is talking to two Watchers?
I think that was Guardians 2, yeah.
Yeah, so we've already established there are multiple Watchers, but I believe this one is in fact credited as Uatu somewhere.
That's pretty sick. I would like to see him pop up in the MCU at some point.
Well, maybe he will,
Maybe he
since
will.
we're doing multiverse stuff now.
Yeah. Okay, but are the Watchers, they're not like Nexus beings, though. Or are they? Are there only one
Well,
group
so
of
here's
Watchers?
the thing, is that in the What If comics, the Watcher does narrate those. So I guess
Yeah.
he can canonically watch alternate realities.
Yeah. I just didn't know if each timeline or reality have their own Watchers or not.
No, I'm not exactly sure how it works, how canonical the narrator of What If is. I presume there is just the one Uatu,
Yeah.
and he can see multiple Earths, but I can't prove that.
I know, and I mean that makes the character more useful anyway, because
Yeah,
he has more
yeah.
information on hand to do
Right.
shit with. Man, this
So this is like the first red flag for me going into this episode. I have
Yeah.
to say this episode has been my least favorite of the entire show that I've seen so far.
I would agree.
And that's because at multiple points it feels like a 14-year-old's fan fiction. And the first of those points
Wait. What?
The first of those points is this
why 14-year-old?
character, Korath, is that his name?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so Korath here acts nothing like he did
No.
in Guardians 1, or he was also in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
That Captain Marvel, in fact, shows what happened to him, the reason he has the cybernetic stuff in his head.
Yeah. No, here
He
he's
was,
like
he was injured fighting Skrulls, I believe.
He's
He
like
was
a
a member of
fanboy
Carol's
groupie.
team.
It's weird.
But yeah, his personality is just completely different here, and it's different as a joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's weird. It doesn't feel great.
it just feels like they rewrote whatever they felt would make T'Challa look cooler than Chris Pratt.
And oh my god, did they do so much. They gave this dude everything.
Yeah, right?
Uh-huh.
He's
Jesus.
Like, it's weird because T'Challa is a real character, so calling him somebody's self-insert Mary Sue is not quite accurate, because a self-insert Mary Sue is like
Rooker?
A character created by the writer of the fanfic.
Yes.
But no, that's still basically what they turned him into here.
Yeah, he's seriously, he's Jesus, dude. Like, he can fucking solve everybody's problem.
Like, if this had been written and created after Chadwick Boseman died, I would understand why it's like this. But obviously, it had to have been written and created before he died, because he's in it doing the voice the entire episode.
You are correct. It's a thing.
Well, was he? Because the reason he kept his cancer secret was he was certain all the way up to the end that he would beat it, right?
Yeah.
So it's highly unlikely that the creators of this episode knew he was dying and was like, well, before you're gone, let's suck your dick.
No, I don't think that happened.
That's a rude way to put it, but
I think
you know
a lot
what I
of
mean.
different things would happen if they knew beforehand. A lot of different things.
Yeah, so it's just weird that this wasn't written to celebrate the guy after he died. It was just always the plan to make a Mary Sue episode about the Black Panther.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good.
No, that's the thing. It's not satisfying to watch someone be this perfect. It doesn't feel like a story. It feels like, I don't know, like hardship and conflict are the soul of storytelling, right?
That's the thing, yes. And he hasn't really
So,
had
like,
it yet in this episode.
here's a guy who talked Thanos out of being Thanos and did it off screen before the episode started. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's he can do anything, man, through T'Challa with us or whatever. Shut up. Yeah, he fixes everything.
I don't know, like the base premise of, okay, the Ravagers kidnapped the wrong kid, and here's the reason why, and the Ravagers are still acting like the Ravagers.
They are.
If that was it, and that was your whole episode, I'm fine with it. It's Korath and Thanos made it fucking weird.
They did. To say it doesn't feel like earned or anything like that is an understatement.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Space.
I don't know.
Oh, I
don't know,
definitely,
'cause
I
it's
definitely
like-
don't.
If like Jimon Hansu was like, hey, my role in the movies was kind of boring, can you give me more to do? That would kind of justify making him such a goof, maybe, but
No, it really just doesn't feel like the character.
yeah, it doesn't feel like the character because it's too different, and the only reason given it's different is, well, this version of Star-Lord is more famous and successful, so he has fans.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kraglin.
And current resistance.
Oh man, barely made it out of that one.
How exactly did you stop Thanos, the Mad Titan, from decimating half of the
And so in this version,
Big enough, man.
because
Charlie
Jesus.
here showed me there was more than one way to reallocate.
at what point exactly did he talk Thanos out of being Thanos? Because
Yeah.
Drax's family didn't die, right?
I
Like,
guess.
Drax
but
works as a bartender in this bar, and
That's
his
true.
daughter is still alive, he says.
Okay.
So, like, the attack on his planet never happened.
it's weird though because like Thanos seems like he would have been doing what he was doing for a much longer than 20 years.
Right?
Like so.
Was T'Challa act like a child when he talked Thanos out of being Thanos?
Yeah, instead of Gamora, it was T'Challa, little one.
You know, that is a fair point. Gamora is nowhere to be seen in this episode.
She's not. We will see.
I mean,
her.
the fact that we don't see Rocket and Groot, that's okay, because they're probably still out there somewhere doing, bounty hunter stuff.
Okay, Nebula.
Right.
That's not a robot.
No.
She looks different.
Well, so my presumption is maybe she still does have cyborg, because she has the thing on her eye.
She does.
It just seems like, since she doesn't have to go around killing things for her dad, she has had the opportunity to care about her looks and get a blonde wig.
Yes.
That's my read on it.
She was not taken apart and put back together a billion times to be stronger.
Yeah, she is less cybernetic.
So now she's basically just a weird looking Mystique.
I would
And
the eye thing makes me think like 7 of 9 but blue.
yeah. I can see that. Exposition.
We could feed billions of people on millions of wells and eradicate hunger across the galaxy.
Don't tell Captain Genocide over here. You might spoil his fun.
You guys pretty funny.
I thought you were cologne.
Come on, man.
Your offspring? Adopted.
It's a long story. I've been trying to get them into counseling.
Mm,
So who's the mark? Tanalir Tavon, also known as
The Collector?
the collector
Right,
is so buff, dude.
He has
When I went straight to Von Saw
acquired some mass.
Yeah, dude. He's like he was not like a physical threat or imposing figure at all. Really.
I have a theory that he's using some kind of like technology steroids.
Could be. Could be.
Because it looks like he's got a lot of gear on him when he fights them later in the episode that might like have swollen himself up.
Which makes sense because he is the collector. Like,
Yeah.
And we see a lot more shit that he has here than he had in the other movies. Way more shit.
Yeah, so apparently T'Challa not being on Earth leads to Mjolnir and Cap's shield ending up in his collection.
Yeah, and the Necro Sword from Hela. I don't know how you're gonna get that.
He has Hela's hat, and apparently wearing her hat lets you make her swords.
What? Who said that? What the?
That's what happens in the episode. He puts on her hat, and then he can conjure her swords out of thin air like she could.
That's how it works. That seems weird.
Yeah, that does seem weird. I'm pretty sure they didn't come from her hat.
I mean, but if your hat is what does it, then why wouldn't the hat have a name and not the Necro Sword?
Well, specifically, like, Hela isn't always wearing the hat, and has the power to make the hat grow out of the back of her head.
It's
Maybe
if the hat was like her fucking weapon, her relic, or whatever you want to call it, her power source. If the hat was her Mjolnir, then like the hat would have a name instead of the sword.
no. Well, my presumption is that every sword she makes is called a Necro Sword.
That is the thing. A Necro Sword versus the Necro Sword.
Yeah, they're not Gore the God Butcher's sword. That's a different thing.
Kinda. It's pretty fucking close. But no, I know Gorge's is like is
Well,
different. He's got symbiote
his
shit too.
sword has a full name. It's called All Black. All Black, the Necro Sword. Like Jabba the Hutt. You know?
Jabba the Hutt, yeah. Okay, I mean, yeah.
Like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
The Rock. Damn, look at this dude. He's like a Belmont.
Now here's my biggest complaint. Like the weirdest thing about the episode to me actually isn't the Mary Sue T'Challa dick sucking. It's why is Benicio doing a different voice than he did in the movies?
Mm-hmm. It is Benicio.
It's actually him. It's the same guy. So why is he deliberately playing it differently? What is this weird voice he's doing?
It's odd. And as far as his like physicality and his like combat presence and all this shit, I guess you can kind of assume that because of the vacuum that was created because Thanos isn't around, maybe he ended up with more shit, and he could like be more of a heavy type of person. But I mean, I don't know. You have to make too many assumptions. There's so many assumptions.
I'm fine with the premise of like the Collector is a bigger deal because I just think it's weird that he's doing that voice.
No, it is. It's definitely weird.
Oh,
We got Seth Green back.
yeah. Well, Seth Green primarily voice acts these days, so that's not a surprise.
No, it's not.
You know, he's been doing Robot Chicken for a decade, so.
Spared no expense. And the Black Order? Wait.
The other, so she just took out Thanos with one shot.
Yeah?
Could not do that in the movies.
That's definitely, seems like it's been buffed
and by the way, doesn't try it again later in the episode when there is another fight.
It's like those, like laser things that Iron Man has. They're only a one shot.
One shot? Okay.
Yeah.
He spent the charge.
Yeah.
Can only do that once a day.
Yeah.
It's like a role-playing game power.
Should have gone for the head.
I have to sleep and recharge.
Yeah.
Can only cast that spell once.
Are they the Black Order? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's what they're called when they're working for Thanos. I don't know.
Well, I mean, but then they're also like children of Thanos. Like they're all this other shit.
Yeah, well, the phrase "children of Thanos" also encompasses Gamora.
It does.
And Nebula. He seems to have a habit of collecting orphans, I guess.
He does.
Cannot be.
Who's that fucker? What? We're in X-Men colors.
I don't think the X-Men actually own yellow and blue.
They don't, but you know, those are their colors. I wonder if that was the same voice actor.
I presume it is.
One would presume.
It sounds like the same guy.
It does.
I mean, he had a fairly small role in Civil War, and in the afterlife in Black Panther 1. But it seems familiar.
Oh, T'Challa! Now it's time for one of your great escapes. You okay, kid? Lied to me. I was protecting you. Are we talking about the mission, or is this
Okay.
family stuff?
Yep, same guy.
Taserface is a lot more agreeable in this universe as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you need to hear a lie to see the truth. You're just like me, T'Challa.
I mean, is he though? You're like a pirate and shit.
Yeah. I don't think that T'Challa would kidnap kids.
Yeah, probably not. It was an interesting pitch though. It's like Hey kid, you want to see outer space? Of course a kid wants to see outer space.
God, that sounds so creepy though. Like, you want some candy, kid? Come on, get in the
Yeah,
van.
yeah, it's a little weird. Like, why is he so eager to just have kids join the team? What's the... Where's it going with this?
It feels a little odd. They look cool.
Was that not the pointy... Aren't both ends of his spear pointy? How do
Corvus
you
Glaive.
do the button with it to knock him out with a fucking spear?
I don't know if it was double ended. I think that was Corvus Glaive. I think that's his name.
Yeah, that was Corvus Glaive. It looked though like he was hitting the camera with the sharp end of his fucking pole.
It's okay. T'Challa's there. Everybody's fine.
I am just an ordinary human. Hardly I work about.
I must admit, now that I see you in the flesh, are you sure you cannot fly or shoot lasers out of your eyes or something?
Let's go a few rounds and you can find out.
Pass. I prefer you in the cave.
Where I come
The proportions are so weird because he's got a regular-sized head,
Yeah. He's just fucking.
and then the
small
rest
as
of his
fuck.
body is gigantic.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like a reasonable caricature of their actors from the live-action movies.
Yeah. He definitely stands out. It's crazy.
You know what it reminds me of is like the art style of Brutal Legend.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I feel like Thanos looks like he's dressed like Mario.
It's a little weird.
I don't know. It's odd.
Red is not his color. It doesn't go well with the purple skin.
That was the odd choice.
I mean, those are the Ravager colors, I guess.
I like that she calls him Cha-Cha. That's good. That's good. That's good stuff.
It's endearing. I'm fine with it.
I had no idea about that Wakandan ship. All I knew was that we had an opening to settle my debt with the Collector and steal the embers right out from under him.
Oh, so all of this has been a triple cross? What? Classic style.
God,
Hey, it was
chill
my
out, dude.
idea to keep you
because he knew I would never let him walk into a trap. Look where we ended up.
all a distraction, providing me the necessary cover to obtain this.
Now, I wonder if these
The
Embers of
ooze.
Genesis are going to end up a plot device in the main universe somehow.
Ninja Turtle shit.
Not to worry, he's keeping his
Do you think they might have something to do with the Celestials or some shit?
What's the device, or what is this?
The
Object?
Embers of Genesis.
Okay.
It's some unexplained MacGuffin that grows plants.
Okay. Hold up. T'Challa doesn't have any superpowers here. He never ate the fucking plant.
No, but the necklace is made of vibranium.
That's not gonna make him like jump really high.
Thank you. I am forever.
That was a cartoonish exaggeration.
There's another thing he does here in a minute. I was like, I don't remember what it was, but I'll remember it when I see it. Damn.
What kind of being leaves a party without saying goodbye?
Something tells me this happens to you a lot.
So the implication he gives is that that arm is literally from Korg, like he's dead.
Really?
Well, he said yeah,
Like, okay,
a terribly chatty Cronin.
Okay.
The only chatty Cronin I know.
Yeah, the other guy didn't have lines.
I go with Dee Dee.
And then Thor 2.
A dagger forged in dark matter, taken from the ruler of the dark elves.
Okay, so obviously Mjolnir and the shield are there. Are there any other particularly recognizable weapons on that board?
Oh, that woman.
Uh,
A necro sword.
Necro
He
Sword.
says a necro
He did
sword,
say a
like
necro
like
sword.
every sword she makes
Mhm.
is a sword that is necro.
Now, once again, look at this shit, dude. Dude.
Like is the hat like did he? So if you scalp Hela, like was the hat part of her body? And so having that gives you her powers. Is that how it works?
I don't know. Like they didn't go into. I do like the idea that that is some kind of like specific relic and not just her sorcery. Because I like the idea of her having her own Mjolnir, her own like weapon of choice type thing and whatnot. I get it.
Doesn't does Hela not have like a signature weapon in the comics?
I don't know.
Like a sword or a spear?
I don't think so. But I mean, she's fucking goddess of death. She's pretty. She doesn't need to like fight that much, like hand to hand and shit like that. But
Yeah, not really.
Yeah. But especially in this
So,
continuity, she had Mjolnir before Thor, so it was like her needing another weapon of choice or whatever kind of tracks. Man, that thing looks crazy.
So another thing that bothers me a little bit is how much trouble Thanos has fighting the Black Order.
Yeah.
Considering this was the guy who could beat up the Hulk without using the stones, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. There are lots of micro contrivances.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
Yes. It's you know. Fuck it.
I will give them this. Like the setup for this scene where he's distracting them so everyone else can get away is normally a setup where the character doing the distracting dies. And if Thanos had died fighting these fucking jobbers, that would have been even more annoying.
Well, would it though? After everything else, he's already turned into like good guy Mario.
Yeah, do villains like lose their powers when they stop being evil?
They do, man. That's why bosses always are way more effective.
Yeah, is this just the fucking Magus and Chrono Trigger? Is that the rule?
It's a video game.
He joins the
logic.
party,
Yeah.
so he has to be weaker?
That's exactly how that works.
That doesn't make sense, though.
Compassion makes you weak.
Superpowers work.
That's how. That's the whole thing. Punch.
So, like, if turning good makes you weaker, does that mean that turning evil makes you stronger?
Of course.
Like, would Captain America be able to throw even larger motorcycles if he was a bad guy?
He can do 2 at a time. Look at Hela. Hela is probably the strongest single person we've seen in the MCU.
I don't know. I mean, she just was really good at making swords out of thin air.
Dude, she tossed people around like they were bitches. She was hella strong. She broke Mjolnir with her hand.
She did break Mjolnir with her hand.
Thanos could never even fucking do that shit, dude. She would have wrecked Thanos.
No matter where you go or how
Okay, I gotta give you that.
Yeah.
She did in fact break Mjolnir
She
with
did
her
with
hand.
one hand.
I trust you'll know what to do with this.
I have some ideas.
Like, I guess it might be close between her and Super Surtur.
no,
Like,
no,
Well, I'm pretty sure Surtur killed her.
stop and think. I took care of
maybe.
He took his giant flaming sword
He did.
straight to the body, and we never saw her again. I think she died from that. I think she exploded real good.
It's like, I think anybody else would be like, absolutely definitively, but I don't know. She's fucking the goddess of death. She probably has Horcruxes somewhere or some shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but like, she doesn't work the same as she does in the comics,
No.
where like hell is her realm.
Right.
Instead, hell was just a place where she was imprisoned and broke out of.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing.
then they specifically say that her power comes from Asgard. So
Yeah.
when Surtur destroys Asgard, she will become weaker. So
she is
since
totally-
Asgard blew up at the same time she was being stabbed with the giant sword, like he stabbed it into her and then into Asgard, and Asgard exploded. I imagine it took her with it.
Yeah, I think that probably could happen, but like I said, either her or Odin, I feel like, would be some of the only people that would have decent, like, good backup plans for shit like that. But I don't know. We don't know. We don't know.
It feels like I can't really see a reason, like a story that they would bring her back for anyway.
No, not right now, anyway. Yeah, she's totally an Asgardian though in the MCU. She's but she's not really an Asgardian in the comics.
Well, in the comics and in the original Norse mythology, she's Loki's daughter.
Yeah.
I can't remember who the mom is.
In Norse, Loki wasn't an Asgardian though. He lived there, but he wasn't like.
No, he is in fact a frost giant.
Yeah.
my son, I knew you would find your way home.
But I mean, one of the things about Norse mythology is that technically, like the Aesir, the Vanir, and the Giants are all gods. They're just like different races
They are.
of god.
No,
Oh god. Look at this fucking Last Supper shit.
Yeah, right.
We get it. He cured cancer.
I don't need to see Thanos like smiling and happy and being licked by a dog, man.
It's so weird. It's really weird. Dude, no, the way T'Challa was hopping around that last fight though, that was some Spider-Man shit. He did.
Again, I'm just gonna chalk it up to the fact that this is a cartoon.
Well, I mean, sure, but like
They play fast and loose with the physics in a lot of places in this show.
contrivances.
The same way that they ballooned up Benicio del Toro. You know,
Yeah, it's
gave him a regular-sized head and a ridiculously buff body. And then apparently, even though T'Challa is the biggest Mary Sue, solves all the problems, the Earth still dies to Ego, the living planet.
which I appreciate. I do like it. If that feels like the only like little bit of balance for the scale, just a tiny bit.
You know, I wonder, did Chris Pratt do something to piss somebody at Disney off?
Was that not Pratt?
Because Star-Lord got shat on pretty hard in Endgame and Infinity War already, and then you say, well, if he hadn't been abducted into space, he would have ended up the janitor at a Dairy Queen his mom went to once. Fucking what?
Yeah, I mean, I don't
He's
know.
a 35-year-old man. This is the best you can do with him?
Yeah, it's he's not exactly reaching for the stars.
It just seems a little unfair.